This right here, this is a man scent. This is a fragrance that you want to wear when you want to smell classy, you want to smell sophisticated, you want to smell high-end, and above all, you just want to smell like a man. Because let's be honest, with fragrances these days marketed for men, not all of them are going to be necessarily masculine. We have a lot of men's fragrances that kind of go in the unisex direction, that go in the sweet, powdery direction. We've kind of lost touch of the aromatic fougere style of fragrance like this one here, utilizing the notes of lavender and oak moss and woods and all these other strong masculine notes. We don't necessarily get that as much this day and age with men's perfumery. But Roja Parfums Scandal really kind of takes it back to the times where aromatic fougères were the most popular. Now, unfortunately for me, I wasn't born in the time where those fragrances were popular. I've been born in the time where the popular fragrances for men are the bubblegum sweet ones. But that's not to say that I don't really like these aromatic fougère scents. This is becoming one of my favorite types of fragrances to explore, and I own a number of them. I've got fragrances like Yves Saint Laurent Rive Gauche Pour Homme. I've got Tom Ford Fougère d'Argent. I've got quite a few of them. Azara Pour Homme, another one. But Roja Parfums Scandal, Parfum Cologne is probably up there with one of my favorites. There's something about this fragrance, just how it smells, how it comes across, the quality, that just smells incredible to me. And it just smells so high-end, so luxurious, and it just smells like a man. So in this video, we're going to be going over my full thoughts on this fragrance. I'm going to tell you how it smells, how it performs, when you can wear it, everything like that. So a couple quick things before we get into the review. First things first, let me know down in the comments what you think of Roja Parfums Scandal. If you haven't had your chance to try the new Parfum Cologne yet, let me know what you think of the Parfum or the EDP. Really curious to hear your thoughts on that. Second thing is, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Also turn on post notifications and give this video a like. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's go and jump into this review. So let's go and start off with the opening of this fragrance. What I get basically right away is lemon and lavender. Those two notes are the first things that come to play. The lavender is soft and powdery, but has a little bit of a bite to it. The lemon gives a nice citrus pop in the opening. It's bright, it's refreshing, it's citrusy. It smells incredible right off the first spray. There's also some other citrus in there as well, like bergamot, which I do get a little bit of bergamot in the opening, but mostly what I'm getting is that lemon. After it starts to settle down onto my skin, what starts to come in after that is oak moss, and a pretty good amount of it. This is an oak moss heavy fragrance for sure. That oak moss just gives it a masculine and green, somewhat earthy type of smell, and the way it mixes with the lavender and with the citrus, it's just to die for. There's just a little bit of sweetness in this fragrance too as it starts to settle down, and I believe a lot of that is coming from the tonka bean. There's also a little bit of a floral component in there as well, and that floral component probably adds to the sweetness just a little bit. This is aromatic, it's spicy, it's fresh, it's woody. This, again, just smells like a man's scent. And I've said that a lot in this review already. Probably going to say it again, but that's just the case. It's an aromatic fougere. It's a barbershop type of scent. But there's something about it that is just a little bit modern. There's just a little bit of a modern touch to it. Something that is kind of combining that old style of, aromatic fougere to somewhat of the new types of fragrances that we've had being released within the past like 5 or 10 years. Again, I don't know what it is, but there's just a little bit of freshness and a little bit of something different about the scent that sets it apart from all of the other aromatic fougères out there. And for me personally, that's the kicker. That's why I love this scent so much. It's just kind of a nice balance between the two. You've got modern with a little bit of old school as well, and I really respect that. If you look at the note breakdown of this fragrance, it's pretty extensive. There's a lot of notes listed for this, but it's still pretty easy for me to distinguish each note that I'm personally able to smell. Again, the lavender, the lemon, the oak moss, the woods, the tonka bean, all that stuff I'm able to pick up on pretty well for the most part. And when you look at a fragrance with a lot of notes, sometimes you may think, oh, there's probably going to be a lot of clash going along. It's probably going to smell and come across almost muddy because of all of the notes and all of the different aroma chemicals and everything coming together, but there's none of that in this fragrance. It comes across smooth, it comes across high quality. It just doesn't seem like there's a bunch of notes in this fragrance. Everything works together in such a way, and there's a lot of balance in this fragrance that it really doesn't come across like too overwhelming just because there's a lot of notes listed. And again, that's really my experience with a lot of Roja fragrances. And if you look at the note breakdowns of a lot of Roja fragrances, they have a lot of notes. Elysium, which is one of my personal favorites, it has a ton of notes in that one as well. But what I get mostly from that is the vetiver, is the blackcurrant, is the bergamot, the other citrus. I get a lot of that from that fragrance. But there are a lot of other notes listed that are just support, that are kind of in the background, giving some balance and giving some backbone to all of those other more prominent notes. The dry down of this fragrance is gorgeous. It's soft. It's a little bit sensual. The lavender is still the main player along with the oak moss, and the tonka bean is still there in the background, giving just a little bit of a sweetness and a little bit of a slight powderiness. But this isn't a tonka bean fragrance. It isn't a powdery fragrance necessarily, but that tonka bean is there to give a little bit of balance from the harsh lemon, oak moss, and lavender. It's a really nice mix. That floral component can be picked up on ever so slightly in the dry down, and again, it's not overbearing. So if you see a floral type of touch in this fragrance, don't let that shy you away, because it's not the main player here. It's just giving just a little bit of a boost to a lot of the other notes, and it's kind of blended in there in such a way that it really adds to the composition overall, and it's a really nice fit. So let's go and talk about when you can wear Roja Parfums Scandal. I'll be honest with you, you can wear this fragrance for about any situation. I don't think there's a limit on this one. You can dress this fragrance up. If you're going out to a dinner, if you're going to a meeting, something like high-end where you're dressed up and you want to smell like class and like luxury, you can wear this fragrance. But on the flip side, if you're just having a casual day, you got to run some errands, you got to go to the grocery store, you got to go do whatever you got to do, you can wear this fragrance. If you have to go to work and you just work kind of a normal job where you don't have to dress up super far, but you don't have to, wear casual clothing, you can wear this fragrance. It's just going to work for anything. In terms of seasons, to me, more of like a spring and early fall type of fragrance. You could wear this one into the summer, although I do think there are better options from Roja, but it could be done. Just I like kind of the slightly mild, cooler weather for this fragrance. Kind of here where we are in fall right now, it's cold, and in fact it's snowing outside right now as it's fall. So in that type of weather, I don't think this one's suited for. But in spring, when it's starting to warm up a little bit, this one will be great. In early fall, when the air is starting to cool off just a little bit, this one would be great. But again, this one does have the versatility and the depth to where it could be worn into the winter time if you wanted it to, and into the times when it's colder in the fall. It can be done 100%. It's such a versatile scent. It's such a signature type of fragrance that you can wear it any year round for absolutely any situation. But if you're asking me when it's best suited for, in terms of when I think it's going to develop the best and when I think it's going to smell the best, I think it's spring and early fall for sure. Will I wear this one in the summer? Absolutely, I'm going to. Is it going to be the best choice? Maybe, maybe not. Depending on how hot it is where you live and how humid, it could start to get a little bit too sweet, and it does have a lot of depth. A lot of those other notes that we've talked about may start to come to the surface more. Of course, I'm still going to do it because I like the scent. So let's go and talk about the performance on Scandal. It's been pretty solid on my skin. Longevity-wise, I've been getting about 8.5 hours. Projection, it does push out there pretty good within the first couple hours, and it will start to die down. In my experience, it does push out from me about like this. So it's not going to necessarily fill up a room unless I went with a lot of sprays, but it's also not a skin scent. So it is pushing out of my personal bubble just a little bit, which is kind of about how I like my projection. That's kind of my sweet spot. I don't want it to necessarily be filling a whole entire room, depending on the fragrance, of course, but generally I don't want that, but I also don't want it to be like right here. So it's kind of in that area where that kind of sweet spot to where it's pushing out. People in my general vicinity walking around me will be able to smell it. It's just not going to be necessarily announcing across the room. And from a fragrance of this style, you don't want that. You want this type of fragrance to be discovered. It should be a treat when someone walks near you and they smell this and they discover it themselves. It shouldn't be something where it's announced to everyone. That's just not this type of fragrance style. So performance overall has been very respectable on my skin. Very happy with it. So if you're kind of skeptical with the Parfum Cologne concentration, you're thinking that's going to perform bad. That's not the case on my skin. I've been getting very solid performance from this fragrance. I'm very impressed. So let's go and talk about the compliment factor on this fragrance. You know, it kind of depends. It depends on the age of yourself and the people around you. The fact of the matter is, this isn't Elysium, right? Elysium is kind of a take on that blue type of fragrance, but it is different than that. That's going to be more mass pleasing to kind of the younger crowd. This one is probably going to catch the attention of the older crowd a little bit more, although not necessarily. I mean, if a younger girl smells this on you, she's probably going to like it. My girlfriend likes this fragrance on me quite a bit, so it just depends. It depends on if you can pull it off, and it depends on if the people around you like it. So a lot of it is just, it depends. That's just kind of how it is with fragrances. I don't think you're going to necessarily find anyone that dislikes this fragrance, because I don't really think there's anything to necessarily dislike about it. It smells clean, fresh, barbershop-y. It's just an aromatic fougere, and maybe I'm biased, but I don't think you could dislike that fragrance. I'm sure people do, because they may think it smells old school, but I don't think so. So I would say you're going to be kind of in the clear for the most part in terms of getting positive feedback. I think it's going to happen. Don't think you're going to get any negative feedback, but it's also not going to be a compliment beast like Elysium and like some of the other more modern fragrances out there. But again, since this one does mix vintage with modern in a type of way, I think you're going to have pretty good luck with positive feedback. So let's go and start to wrap this review up. My final thoughts on Roja Parfums Scandal. I love it. I'm very impressed with this scent. When I got this bottle, that was the first time I ever tried Scandal in any form of concentration. I haven't tried the Parfum or the EDP. Do plan on getting the Parfum though at some point, because I love this one so much. So this was a really big surprise for me, and I've been wanting to try it for a while since I've been into fragrances like this. This one didn't let me down in the slightest. I'm very pleased to have this one in my collection. Excited to wear it more. Probably going to put it on the shelf as we're pretty much into winter here, which is fine by me. I'll pull it back out in the spring and wear it quite often. Until then, of course, I'll pick it up from time to time and smell it, and probably wear it just on myself to enjoy it. So yeah, I am going to miss not being able to wear it as much because of the weather here being very cold, but I'm also excited to wear it all year next year, or at least spring and summer. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Again, let me know down in the comments what you think of Roja Parfums Scandal, whether you've tried the Parfum Cologne or not. Let me know. And that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe down below, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another upload. Take care.